Hi, welcome to the second part of the three-part series, Discovering the Real You. Today we're going to look at the brain and the different parts of the brain and actually who's in control. So the first thing I want you to understand is there's actually 7 different parts to the brain, and as we develop and evolve a new part to the brain, the old part still functions as well as the new part. So unlike other cells in the body, when we regenerate a new cell, the old cell usually dies off and becomes obsolete and the new cell takes over. But with the brain, as we evolve each new part, both parts are still functioning. So the 3 parts, we're gonna look at 3 different parts of the brain tonight, so 3 main parts. And the oldest part of your brain is called your brain stem, or your reptilian brain. And the brain stem is all about fight, flight or freeze. So it's survival mechanism. It's all about physical safety. So it has no language. It can only react. It's all about reaction. Fight, flight, freeze. Then we have the mammalian brain, or your limbic system. Now the limbic system is also about safety, but it's about feelings. So feeling safe. Feed me, clothe me, nurture me, love me. Now the mammalian brain can only feel in relation to what the brain stem or reptilian brain reacts to. So the mammalian brain has no language either. It can only feel in relation to what the brain stem reacts to. Now these 2 parts of the brain are known as your old brain. Now within your old brain, every single experience you've ever had in your life is stored in your old brain. Let alone is every experience you've ever had stored in your old brain. Every sense of every experience is stored within your old brain. So that means the sight, smell, sound, taste, touch of every single experience you've ever had is stored in your old brain. This blows me away. I mean, you've heard of cellular memory, yeah? But think about the billions of experiences we've had in our lives that are still stored there, that we're not even aware of. So this is why sometimes, you might get a smell or you'll hear a sound and it'll take you back to a vivid memory of something that you had no conscious recollection of before. So for me, I know I get it often when like when I smell fresh cut grass, and it immediately takes me back to like I had my own lawn mowing around when I was 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and I can it takes me back to this one moment in time where I remember I'm standing in front of the mirror and like it's dusty, it's a beautiful sunny day, like I can hear the noise of the mower and I can see my scrawny little legs in front of me, and I can see there's in front of where I'm mowing there's an oil-stained fence because I oil-stained it a few weeks prior. So every single experience, every sense of that experience is stored within this experience. Now they also know this because they're able to operate on your brain while the patient's awake, because a brain has a neural system but not a nervous system. So it doesn't feel pain like the rest of the body. So they're able to operate on a patient, and while they're awake they can poke and prod certain parts of the brain, and the patient would have vivid recollections, vivid memories of things they had no conscious recollection of beforehand. So this is your old brain. Then we have your human conscious brain, your logical brain, which is known as your cerebral cortex. Now your cerebral cortex is all about understanding. It's also about safety, but its purpose is, look, if I can understand this, I can work it out, I can convince the other 2 parts of the brain that everything is okay. Now, we share a cerebral cortex with only 2 other mammals. So dolphins, who actually have a cerebral cortex that's 5 times larger than human beings, which I think is amazing. And then we also share it with apes, who have a smaller cerebral cortex than we do. The cerebral cortex is logic, it's understanding. Now, the problem occurs here when these 3 parts of the brain, they have no language and they can't communicate. So I'll give you an example. One of my earliest, an earlier childhood memory that I have, I was about 8 years old, and I was walking home from the shop one day, and I had a rolled up newspaper in this arm, and I had, in this hand I had a brown paper bag with bread, butter, and there was something else in there, I can't remember what that was. But I remember walking down the road, it was a sunny day, like I'm walking on the left-hand side of the road, and as I'm walking down the road, I'm just swinging the newspaper and minding my own business. But I see up ahead on the verge, outside of a property, there's a dog, a boxer. So a boxer is a type of dog, quite a big type of dog, a breed of dog. And it was outside the property. And I mean, we were a dog family. I'd been brought up with big dogs. We had Alsatians, you know, like, so it didn't concern me at all. I'm walking up the road. As I got closer, the dog kind of turned around and looked up at me. And I just said, "G'day, boy, how you going?" And as I walked past, the dog jumped up, bolted across the road and bit into my leg and attacked me. Now, immediately I froze, I screamed, froze, and then I hit the dog with the newspaper. So my initial reaction, my brainstem was freeze and then fight. Yeah, so I hit the dog ran off. And I limped home, and my parents ended up taking me at the hospital. Now, at that time of reaction, so the mammalian brain can only feel according to whatever I react to. So what do you think the mammalian brain might have been feeling there? Definitely fear. So I was definitely afraid, yeah? I felt vulnerable, I felt weak, I felt isolated, I felt alone, I felt scared, I felt, you know, like I felt powerless and helpless. So I had all of these feelings going on within the mammalian brain according to what the brainstem has reacted to. So I get home, my parents take me up to the hospital and I get stitched up. And while we're there, you know, because we're a dog family and you know, we didn't want to get the dog put down. My parents are trying to, you know, like explain to me, look, first of all, you know, you sure you didn't do anything? I said, look, I swear, you know, like I was just minding my own business. I didn't provoke or aggravate the dog in any way. So they, you know, come to the conclusion, look, they said, maybe the dog's obviously been beaten with something, maybe a pipe or, you know, like a rolled up newspaper, someone's beaten it before and it's just freaked out and reacted. And, you know, so they're going, poor dog, and I'm going, what about me? So look, I mean, and I was doing the same thing, and I was thinking, yeah, that makes sense, you know, like that absolutely makes sense to me. So this is my intellect. So my intellect, my cerebral cortex, my human brain is trying to make sense of this and understand this, yeah, and then soothe the other two parts of my brain. Oh, look, yeah, it's just a one-off reaction. The dog's obviously been beaten with that, you know. So oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So its job is to understand it so that everybody feels safe and feels okay. Now, that's all fine and good. Until, what do you think happened the next time I saw a dog? Yeah, it didn't matter how big the dog was, whether it was a small dog, a medium dog, a large dog, yeah? What do you think took over? Immediately, the brainstem, or the old brain took over. So, freeze, so the survival mechanism took over, and then what do you think I felt at that exact moment? Yeah, every single feeling that I had from the original experience flooded in. And I felt the same: scared, vulnerable, weak, isolated, alone, helpless, powerless. So all of those feelings flooded back in. Now my human brain was going, no, it's okay, no, it's okay. Remember that other dog had just been beaten with a newspaper, and you know, trying to satisfy or soothe the other two parts of the brain. But no, the old brain took over. So think about this in terms of every experience you've ever had. How many times have you overreacted? How many times have you just like reacted to something and go, where did that come from? What was that about? I know this happens with me. Because every experience we've had is stored within our old brain. So the logical human brain, which we think is actually in control, isn't in control. In fact, your logical human brain only has 10% control. So your conscious logical mind has 10% control. Your subconscious, which is the old brain, controls 60 to 70% of how you think, feel and behave. So consciously we've only got 10% control. Subconsciously we've got, the subconscious controls 60 to 70% of your life. Now, your subconscious controls and runs your life according to your subconscious story. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about your subconscious story and where that comes from and where we develop that and why we keep repeating the same patterns and cycles in our life. So stay tuned. I hope you got something from today, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.